Welcome back, YouTube fam. Today we have a treat. When I got this package and I opened these figures, I got a treat. These are absolutely stunning. They're from 2007 Mezco Cinema Fear. Let's take a look. All right, so there's three to the set. The first one I'm going to show you, maybe my least favorite of the three, but it is still an all-time favorite. These three figures I'm about to show you probably make the top 50 greatest horror action figures ever produced. I've been wanting them for a long time. The markets finally came down on some of them. I felt like I got a solid deal. If you guys are new to the channel, you know it's always about trying to find some deals, baller on a budget, as I would say, and just continuing to build that collection. All right, guys, let's get into it. There's the Cinema Fear. This is the back. None of these are what we're about to look at. But, okay. So, with that being said, 2007 Cinema Fear screen grab. A screen grab is when you have a movie scene, and that movie scene comes to life in the set, or the figures. So, if you recognize this from Jason, well, his mother coming out of the lake to grab the young boy. This, to me, guys, you know, it's just so cool, because when you watch the movie, this is exactly the scene, and it's just, it's classic. Mezco did it right. In my opinion, you know, this is probably, for 2007, much better. I know it's a little piece there. Much better than a lot of the stuff they make today. It's a mature audience, 18 and over. Cinema Fear, Mezco, they did it again. Wow, in 2007, guys, I will say this, for 18 and older, and this is the least of the three that I feel like, as far as like eye appeal, grabs your attention. The next one is probably, although it's my favorite character, it's probably number 2 out of the 3. You guys know I love Freddy Krueger. Once again, I'll give you a full 360 of the box. There's all 3. But right away, this is the scene where Freddy transforms and starts to swallow. Now, it's kind of like a diorama. You look at the background, the bookshelf, very little detail stuff. The wall looks like it's caving in, crusty. But just look at the face on that. In my opinion, incredibly done. You know, it just really is. It's done really well. I mean, I just look at these and I'm like, wow. Do you guys feel the same way when you see these? Like, is it just something that they just gravitate to you and they just grab you and you're like, screen grab? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just hard to put the right words on some of these pieces. And I think it's refreshing because it's like, it's 18 years old, right? 2007, I believe. It's just refreshing because you see something with mature audience, 18 and over, and then you're like, that's really cool. So out of the 3, that's number 2. The last one I'm about to show you is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this piece is stunning. You know, above me up here on the shelf, I have some Mezco, some Cinema Fear. Even, I don't know if there were screen grabs or not. I have to look off the top of my head. But I will say this. Mezco may be one of the, if not best, horror toy line ever. Ever. I mean, they're produced so many great figures. It's really stunning, guys. I'm looking at these and I think of like, and I know they're probably very produced, but they've also gotten very expensive. But I look at them as like the Nancy Thompson, the bathtub Cinema Fear up there right behind me. Like it's like a piece of art. It's just so, and it's a screen grab technically because it's from the movie. The exact movie happens like that, where the claw comes out of the bathtub when she falls asleep. I'm really drawn to pieces like that where you look at them and you're like, that's something I want in my collection. All right, once again, we'll do a little bit of a 360, 180. There's all three. We have the full set. I got a deal on eBay for all three. Shout out to the seller. Shipped them really well. Incredibly done well, guys. I mean, I'm just, like I said, this thing is just stunning. And, you know, you look at it from different angles. You see here, there goes the hammer hitting him in the head. There's the blood. I mean, it's gory. Look at the blood all over the floor. He's coming out that closet or whatever it was. I've got to rewatch this just so I can see the scene again. And then you look, it's just like perfectly done. The splatter, the spill. And then look at the guy's hand right there holding him up as he falls. It's like the staircase or something going up right next to it, I believe, was there. And then like the little details in the background of behind him with the skulls, the animal skulls, it looks like. Let me double check. Yeah. Such a masterpiece. 18 and over, mature audiences only. You know, guys, you look at this and you just think, wow. For something that retailed for 20 bucks, $17 right here, one of them says. And, you know, that was probably in 2007. And, you know, you're spending a lot of money back then for something like this. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to afford it by any means, especially back then. You know, I've seen this piece particular go for like 160, 170. I was in a little over 200 because he did give me a $15 discount for combined shipping. But I will say this, I'm just happy to have these. You know, it's one of those sets you're just like, I've got all three and I'm done. You know, the horror stuff is always going to be classics to someone. They're going to be iconic because of the generational, you know, you just show your kids or somebody else's friends show you and then they show them. And the classics of horror are not going anywhere. And that's why I say the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Jason, the Freddy Krueger, these figures are iconic. And they're going to continue to reproduce some of these movies. And unfortunately, we're going to see some bad ones. We already have. But we may always be able to bring them back and eventually save the franchise again. If not, they'll always love the old ones. And to me, that's what it's about too. It's just that sense of like nostalgia for some of these too. And you know, some of these are, you know, really, I mean, the first Jason is like going back to the early 80s, before my time. Even the first Freddy came out way before, probably before I was born. So you got to think, like, it just goes to show you. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out probably in the 70s. So really cool stuff, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. One last run through. These are just incredible looking, in my opinion. I think I'm really serious when I say these might be in the top 50 horror figures ever produced. I think Mezco's just got an incredible run of stuff. If you guys like horror, take a look at some of my other videos. I have quite a bit in the collection now. Over the years, I've added quite a bit more. But for the most part, I do love my horror, but I have specifics. And I'm very picky when it comes to horror stuff. I just don't collect anything. I like the stuff that I like, you know. And for the most part, Cinema of Fear, Mezco, anything Mezco related, early day stuff, it's kind of like the early NECA, you know, the cult classics. Give them credit. They have some unbelievable stuff as well. But that's just my personal preference. You guys may have a different opinion. Let me know what you think about these three. Comment below. Which one is your favorite? As always, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Talk soon.